What's going on, my exotic family? It's your boy Dre back at you with another video. So today's video, I kind of wanted to go over my personal top 10 favorite reptiles, whether they're in my collection or not in my collection. These are my top 10 favorite reptiles, hands down. So before we actually jump into that, I do want to just throw out a disclaimer. Some of the reptiles that are on this list are reptiles that I currently own. I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Just because they are some of my favorite reptiles, that does not mean they get priority over the other reptiles that I have. All of my reptiles get the same amount of care, and they get the same time. Everyone gets the same amount of effort. So just feel like I need to throw that out there. You just never know what someone might say. But anyways, we'll jump right into it. So the first reptile I would like to start off with is the Cayman lizard. Cayman lizards are native to South America, right around the Amazon River Basin, right around Brazil, Guyana, that general area. They're very, very cool lizards. I personally like them because of their color. I kind of wanted to get one, but I mean, I don't have the space. I'm not really an impulse buyer type of person. If I can't provide, the proper enclosure or a lifetime enclosure for a specific animal, then I do not get it. So I think the Cayman lizard is more than likely just going to stay one of my favorite reptiles. But I mean, that may change in the future. Need I come up with some more space or, anything of that nature. But however, they're very pretty. They're a very vibrant red and green. They usually get around like 4 feet. But they're just very interesting, cool lizards. I mean, they eat a plethora of things from, crickets to, raw fish to tuna to snails and anything of that nature. So they're a real hardy lizard. And like I said, they're really pretty. Another cool thing about them is there are few lizards out there that get their size that are actually semi-aquatic. So, I mean, you can go around on like YouTube and see other setups and things of that nature of, these lizards that are 3.5, 4 feet, with this humongous enclosure that's like half climbing, half land, and then half water. So it looks really, really cool. So that is number 10. All right, so number 9 would be Mexican black king snakes. They're just, to me, they're just like the holy grail of colubrids, in my opinion. I mean, they get that really nice shimmery black, and that's just kind of something that everyone likes. Everyone likes that shimmer. So I just really, really like them, what I'm saying, because you don't see a lot of super dark, solid black snakes, or just solid dark colored snakes in general with that really vibrant, rainbow effect. And like I said, they're pretty cool. Like I said, I've always wanted to get into more colubrids. That's definitely something on my want list. I can't wait till I get one. So definitely I gotta get me a Mexican black king snake sometime soon. Number 8 have to be Burmese python. Burmese pythons, I mean, that was probably like the very first snake that I fell in love with when I was younger, that kind of sparked the whole reptile interest. I've never gotten one. I doubt I'll ever get one. They just get way too big for me. Like I said, I'm 5'5". I don't need a 14, 15 foot snake. I just feel like that's a bit too much power for me. They're beautiful snakes. I would love to have one. But jeez, that is a large snake. But I just like how they look. They get that massive head. They get huge. I mean, who doesn't like a huge reptile that they can show off? But I feel like, once again, more people are afraid to admit it than most. Everyone has their limits, and I feel like maybe like a 7 to 10 foot snake is my limit, but I can't do 14 to 15. But nonetheless, Burmese pythons are great snakes, and if I were able to, if I felt like I could handle one, then I would definitely get one. Alrighty, so number 7, well, before I even get started with number 7, these are in no particular order. So it's just kind of how I wrote them down, but they are in no particular order. Number 1 may be the only accurate one, at least in my collection, and as far as how I feel. But 2 through 10, those are not in order. But number 7 would be bearded dragons. They're definitely like a household favorite. You can't go wrong with a bearded dragon. I mean, bearded dragons are literally like dogs with scales. I mean, you can get a bearded dragon and they are like the most social creatures and the most friendly, and they have a lot of personality. So I don't know many people who are into reptiles that don't have one or have never had one before. I mean, everybody has, you know, had experiences with bearded dragons, and they make great pets. So they definitely had to make the list for just like all around great pets, because I mean, I've seen, you know, kids as small as 5 years old have bearded dragons and they do great with them. So definitely something, you know, I like. I mean, summertime, you can literally put them on your shoulder and just kind of hang out, and they would just kind of chill, you know. They definitely don't mind human interaction, so that's definitely big characteristics that bearded dragons have that a lot of people like, in my opinion. So that's definitely a huge reason why I like bearded dragons. Number 6, Brazilian rainbow boas. Most of you that, I mean, if you've ever seen a Brazilian rainbow boa, I mean, I don't even really have to explain it. I mean, just look at the picture. I mean, jeez, those are some beautiful snakes. Next to the, you know, Boland's pythons and green tree pythons, in my opinion, they're probably one of the prettiest snakes ever, just period. Everyone has their opinions, that's my opinion, but Brazilian rainbow boas are hands down just gorgeous snakes. You see a lot of people online that say like some of the babies, they can be a little nippy and stuff like that. I never personally had that issue with my rainbow boa, but even then, if you are having that issue, once you get past that initial phase and they grow up to be beautiful adults, it is so rewarding to have this snake that is just like literally nothing but a rainbow. It's literally like a rainbow in snake form. So to have, you know, to personally have that in my collection, that's something I'm very grateful for. Sometimes I can't get over the fact that I even have one. I mean, I post some of the pictures that I have of mine on Instagram. I'm just like, that's a good picture right there. So Brazilian rainbow boas are definitely probably, I got them ranked at number 6, you know what I'm saying, on this list. But like I said, this list is in order. But if I had to put them anywhere on like a snake list, they'd definitely be in like the top 3. Number 5, Argentine tegu. Beautiful, very intelligent, sophisticated animals. I mean, you can't go wrong with a tegu. I mean, unless you don't know what you're doing. I have plans to get a tegu, but that's way down the lines. I've had one before, but that's something I definitely would love back in my collection. They are beautiful animals, and who doesn't like a large, you know what I'm saying, lizard that kind of can, you know, do their own thing, that's tame. They're omnivorous, so, you know, you can feed them, you know, fruits, veggies, and meat. So they have a very balanced diet, I guess you can say. And especially for them to be as large as they are, and then the jowls that they get, I mean, you wouldn't even think that they eat, you know, fruits and veggies. They're very beautiful lizards. I mean, there's a lot of them out there now where people are breeding them in morphs, and they come in a variety of very exotic colors and variations, and they are just gorgeous. So Argentine tegus they're great animals. I can't rave enough about them. Colombian tegus are great animals as well. Argentines get slightly bigger. Colors, you know, are slightly different as well. Colombians are known to be more aggressive. I don't necessarily know if that's true. Me personally, my last tegu actually was a Colombian. This time I went to Argentine. My Colombian, I never had any issues with. They're great animals. Just like with any lizard or monitor or, you know, large lizard species, they're gonna have their days. But nonetheless, tegus are great animals, and I can't wait till I get one back in my collection as well. So number 4, I just wrote boa. There's multiple different kinds of boas. You know, there's your BCIs and your BCCs, boa constrictor imperators, or your boa constrictor constrictors, which are your true red tails. You know, your Surinams, your Guyanas, your Peruvians, things of that nature. I don't care what kind of boa it is. I like boas. I currently have a common boa by the name of Luther. So if it's a boa in general, I'm definitely interested. I mean, I like the Surinams, I like the Guyanas, I like the Dumerals, I like all types of boas. So even, you know, I mean, I like I said, I know I mentioned the Brazilian rainbow boa, but this is more so towards the larger, more known constrictors per se. So I just think they're very, very, you know, unique creatures. There's a lot of different morphs of them as well. I like the size. They're right on the cusp of what's almost too big for me, at least as far as the BCC, the boa constrictors, the true red tails. You see a lot of those guys get like right around 7 to 12 feet, whereas a lot of the common boas or Central American boas usually stay right around the 4.5 to 6.5, 7 foot. You know, the Central American boa is generally known to be the smaller species. So, like I said, I like both. The true red tail boas have the brighter red tail. That's why they call them true red tails. Versus your common red tail or common boa, they have more of that like maroon burgundy color. But nonetheless, both beautiful snakes. Number 3, blood python. As most of you are familiar with my blood python Kato, he's a matrix blood python. I've always liked blood pythons, however, actually having one in my care just makes me like them even more, because the particular, you know, individual that I have is the complete opposite of what they're known for. They are known to be these super nasty, aggressive, you know, snakes that are untamable, unhandleable, and they'll bite the hell out of you every chance they get. And I hold my guy every week. I haven't had any issues with any snake. If you read the body language, that'll tell you how they're feeling. So I really just feel like it's a matter of education and recognizing body language. But whatever. After all that, they are great snakes. Like I mentioned in the Blood Python Care video, they're a great snake for someone who wants to get into large snakes without getting into the huge 15-footers. You know, your Burmese and your retics. And they also, just like many of the other reptiles on this list, come in a very wide variety of, you know, morphs and colors and everything like that. So they're very beautiful snakes. Kato he'll be about 2 years. He's growing out well. They get around. He's a male. Males usually stay slightly smaller, so he'll probably max out right around like 4.5, 5 feet. I like to call them fat ball pythons because they get right around ball python size just about, but they get, I mean, probably double if not triple the girth. I mean, they are pretty girthy snakes. I'll post a picture of a pretty large one up in the video right now. But anyone that's looking for a snake that does not get too big but gets a nice size, definitely look into a blood python. You can't go wrong. Number 2, it's actually a snake that I am sadly on the hunt for. And I say sadly because I've been looking for one of these for like a year and it is impossible to find one. That is a white lip python. Specifically a southern, but I like both. I like a northern or a southern, so whichever one I can find first, that's probably the one I'll grab. But they're another one of those snakes that gets that really pretty effect. They get that really pretty, you know, shimmer on them like the Brazilian rainbow boas and, you know, your Mexican black king snakes. So, and then, you know, they're that dark black, or if it's a northern, it's like more of a rusty brown. But then they have like this white around the lips, and it just kind of sets everything off because you have this snake that's dark, and then it just got like white on the face, and it's just a snake that you look at and be like, I want that. And that's how I feel. I want that snake. I gotta have that snake. So, white lip pythons, they've been eluding me for so long, but I will get one. I'm gonna get a white lip python. I gotta get a white lip python. Finally, number 1. Bing! green tree python. Some of you probably knew I was going to say that. Green tree python is just like hands down my all-around favorite snake. Some of you may have guessed it from the shirt. This is a green tree python shirt. My green tree python Venus is my favorite snake. I may be a little biased, but they're just gorgeous snakes. That is just a snake that can literally sit there and not do anything, and you're just like, oh, that's a pretty snake. And it's just like, they don't do anything. They're not really super active, but they are a beautiful snake to have on display. And I feel like anybody who appreciates an animal and natural behavior, and you may not even like interacting with your animal that much, a green tree python is the perfect snake for you, simply because they're not the most handleable snakes. They don't like to be handled all the time as like a ball python, or I'm not gonna say they like it, because no snake, I'm not gonna say any snake really likes it, but they're not as tolerable. But for the most part, they are arboreal. They like to hang out in the trees and just kind of sit there and hang there and just kind of relax. So, you know, I just like to sit back sometimes, relax, and just look at my green tree python Venus just kind of do his thing, lay on his coils, and just look as cool as he is. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for my top 10 personal favorite reptiles. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a comment down below and tell me what your favorite reptiles are. I'm more than interested to see what you guys you know, feel about, you know, my list, and I want to see your list. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram at DW Exotics, and as always, stay exotic. Later.